Hi, this is Dave Gardner with Keller Williams Realty, and I'm here today with David Brink, and he's with Brink Home Inspections. And David, I understand that you live down in the Larkspur area.
Oh, yes, I do. I've been here about 20 years now.
Excellent,
And I
excellent.
don't think I would live anywhere else. This is a little slice of heaven. So
It certainly is. Yeah, we do a lot of our work in the Larkspur area, but I'm willing to bet you do home inspections, all over the Front Range. What is your area that you handle the home inspections in?
I run anywhere from Canyon City all the way to mid-Denver, I would say, the Front Range.
Okay, that's great.
I
Canyon
prefer
City,
to kind
that's
of
a ways
stay
out
up in
there.
the southern areas, but that's my typical area I work.
Excellent, excellent. So I imagine most of your home inspections are done when somebody's buying a home. And tell us just a little bit about what goes into a home inspection when somebody's, looking to get a home inspection when they're buying a home. Tell us a little bit about that.
Sure. Well, a typical home inspection takes anywhere from 2 to 4 hours, depending upon the size and the age of the home. If I'm inspecting an older home, I'll typically pull the permits and see what was permitted on it to see if there's been any renovations done to it, that sort of a thing, just to make sure it was properly permitted.
Yeah, we see a lot of that where they don't pull the permits, unfortunately, and that sometimes opens up a can of worms. But
that is correct. Yeah, when you get a 50-year-old house, you know that there's probably been some work on it that was a DIY type of thing. So you have to look a little bit closer at things.
Right.
But once again, it takes 2 to 4 hours to do a typical inspection. And what we're looking for are things that's going to impact the purchase price of the house, or some future thing that may occur, crack in the foundation or something of that nature. So we're kind of looking for things that the new buyer should be aware of before they go into it. Our goal is to make sure that, it's not always a major thing. We've got minor, I have moderate, and then we have major defects. And that, of course, allows the agents and the brokers to kind of work the price a little bit if we're going to do some repairs or replacement or something of that nature.
Right. Well, tell us a little bit about Brink Home Inspections. How long have you been in business?
Well, we're well into our second year and doing very well. I mean, the market is finally starting to pick back up a little bit, and we're doing quite a bit of business. We're averaging about 1 inspection a day right now.
Excellent. Now, how did you get started in the home inspection business?
Well, that's interesting. I've done a lot of fix and flips. I've done several of those in the last 30 years. And so I really know what to look for when you're going in to buy a house. I actually, because of my experience, I typically don't use an inspector before I became an inspector to look at a house, because I knew what I was looking for after having that much experience. But I found that I was working for corporate America behind a desk, and it just didn't have quite the passion I felt like I needed. So I decided to put my experience together with the InterNACHI certification and build my own business for doing inspections.
Right. I see that you have the CPI designation, which is the Certified Professional Inspector. Tell me a little bit about what it takes to get that designation.
It's quite a bit of training. I mean, there's training, there's testing, there's continuing education that we have to do. There are guidelines that we have to operate our business by, and it is the premier certification across the country.
Excellent. How long does it take to get a certification like that?
8 weeks is the actual course that you go through. And then you take, your final exams and that sort of thing. But really what you bring to the table is, experience. If you're somebody who is a homeowner, I've been a homeowner since I was 16 years old. So that's the main thing.
That's unusual.
I started working when I was a very young man. So 16 years old was my first house payment. So
Wow. Wow.
And I love homes. I love, working in homes, and every home has a story behind it. And it's fascinating to what you go through. The technical training was very informative. There's things that, you look for long-term possibilities where something would go wrong. That was good. But like I said, a lot of the experience I bring to the table is just through my working with my fix and flips and having my own home.
Right, right. Now, when you look over a home from 2 to 4 hours, you're probably looking from everything from the rooftop to the bottom of the basement. What's the most memorable experience you've had of finding something unusual during a home inspection?
Probably one of the older homes I inspected in Canyon City. And I went
Okay.
into that home, and it had a cellar. You talk about going from the roof to the basement. Well, there's one more level that's below that. And went into this particular cellar, and as you opened up the hatch, it was full of cobwebs and that sort of thing. But that's where the furnace was. So I
Ah,
had to go down there and inspect the furnace and everything else underneath there. And what was interesting was just how that furnace had been replaced and what they did with the old furnace. They just stuck it in the corner. They didn't bother to take it out. They just tucked it
couldn't
away in
get
the
it out
corner
that
and put the new
hatch.
one in. And they dug a hole. They had to dig the hole a little bit deeper for that one. But that was the most interesting thing I think I've ever seen. Had
Right.
good client experiences have been more memorable to me than anything. That's what I
Excellent,
enjoy.
excellent.
I
On
enjoy the
the older
client.
homes, do you run into many cases involving asbestos?
Not too much. Not too much. We see it, but not too much. I mean, a lot of it's already been cleared out, or asbestos, especially in a ceiling. If it's the popcorn, isn't going to get you. It's not going to harm you unless you go to scrape it off.
Yeah. Well, what are your biggest challenges in the home inspection business?
Uh, Boy, right now is probably the virus, as I'm sure you have felt as well. Getting in, you go in. What I have to do when I go in is I go in with a full mask on, and anything that I touch when I leave, I have to completely disinfect on the way back out. So my
Ah, okay.
process is to go in, inspect the home, and then as I'm walking out, I've got my gloves and my sanitizing things that I use to clean everything on my way out, back out the door. So that's added some additional time to the inspection.
You bet. Well, what would you like the general public to know about you and your home inspection business?
Well, a couple things. Some of the questions that we had talked about. One of the things that's different for Brink Home Inspections, it's a software that I use to do the inspections. Um, it is absolutely state-of-the-art software, which allows me to print videos or to create videos, to create pictures, to create the narratives that go along with the defects that I see, and to be able to categorize them all. Because when I go into a home to do an inspection, I'm inspecting hundreds of different things, and I'm taking pictures of all of those different things. When I find a moderate or a major defect, then I'm going to go a little bit more in depth on that particular area and talk about that a little bit more. And the software, you don't have to go through all the minor to get to it. It's already sorted out as the major category or a minor category. So that makes it easier. Also, with the software that I use, it allows you as the agent to automatically generate your report, your objection report. By not having to do a bunch of cut and pasting. You actually just decide which items that you want included in that report, and it generates a PDF document or an online document for you to submit to the seller's agent. All the agents that I've worked with that have used it just think it's just the greatest thing since sliced bread. So
Excellent, excellent. Well, what's it cost somebody on average to have one of these 2 to 4 hour home inspections completed?
basic inspection is about $350. That's just for the inspection. When you start adding a sewer inspection and a radon inspection, they'll go up $1 to $300, depending upon the combination of those two.
Right. Does it vary for the size of the house for the inspection cost?
Two factors that go into an inspection cost are the age of the home and how large of a home it is. A house that's got 5 bathrooms and 5 bedrooms is going to take a little bit longer and cost a little bit more than the house that's going to be a 2-bedroom, 2-bath type of a house.
Right, right, right. So if somebody wanted to get a hold of you to do a home inspection, what's the best way to reach you?
I've got a website. My website is brinkhomeinspections.com, but you can
That's
also
B-R-I-N-K.
BRINK, no S on Brink. So I wish I owned the armored car business, but I don't. So it's Brink Home Inspections, and direct phone number is the best way to get a hold of me.
And what's that phone number?
720-220-9128.
Well, great. Well, David, it's been great talking with you today, and I look forward to seeing you out in the field while we're actually doing some home inspections.
That sounds like a good plan, Dave.
Absolutely. You enjoy your beginning of summer here, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Sounds good, Dave. You take care, okay?
I sure will. You do the same.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye now.